Well, good morning. I'm not going to wait till 4 something. I just finished the blurb of, like less than 10 minutes ago. I woke up about quarter after 1, got out of bed about a half an hour later, intended to come and put my videos up on, my video for today up on Facebook. And of course, this that I'm recording right now is for tomorrow. And I was only going to put it up on Facebook and go right back to bed because I felt so tired. Well, here it is, 2 hours later, and I'm still up at the computer. I haven't been back to bed at all. And I'm doing the video for tomorrow for the 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. I should have wore something green, but I didn't. I just put this shirt on that I wore yesterday to go hear my son play in the afternoon. Anyway, the title for today is When Will Payments 1 through 11 be distributed? I already have people asking me how they can get funding for worthwhile projects, and others are in dire economic straits needing money now. I have the wrong word there. I better fix it or I'll forget. I hear you. These things are on my mind every day and night, especially when I'm wanting to sleep. The truth is, the task of distribution is, like the entire project, enormous. A network of distribution has to be set up with people on the ground, and it has to prevent the old establishment from diverting the funds into control and military projects that will subvert the intent of Mr. Sugih and the delegates who want to co-create that new world that works for everyone I mention so often. Some have said that Obama will meet with Mr. Sugih next weekend around the Spring Equinox. Others have also suggested that Obama will be announcing NESARA soon. These sources are not related that I know of, but it is interesting. How this whole thing will play out remains to be seen. I certainly hope distribution can begin fairly quickly and will be well underway by the next big SwissIndo meeting in early June. That one is supposed to be covered by worldwide media. Yes, people want the money now. And there are many worthwhile projects that need to be funded and need to be brought to market in the world that we live in. Not some 5D world that's coming at some point in the future, but the real world now on the ground in physical reality. It needs to happen here. And as for the people that are hurting, there are millions and millions and millions of people that are in dire economic straits, health challenges, challenges of their home and of their relationships, and challenges, just life challenges that are going on every day. Countless numbers of them, huge numbers of people are suffering, and we want to address that. Every good-hearted person wants to see these things addressed, and I'm one of those, and there are many others like me who really want to see the world improve and work better. But as I've said in other videos, we can't just snap our fingers and make things happen instantly. We live in a world where we expect instant gratification, especially the Western world. But it is a process, folks. It is a process that has to be undertaken. The signatures happened on March 11th. Okay, that's when the Laotian delegation signed the paperwork with Mr. Sugih, and the funds are available now for release for the first time. As I understand it, it was important that an elected government official needed to be available to sign off on this for it to happen, and that happened with, as I said, the Laotian delegation on March 11th. And there will be a whole lot more that will take place, and there are still delegates on the ground in Indonesia that are working on getting some of this process underway where the funds can actually begin to be accessed. I mean, making them available and making them, letting them become accessed are two different things. They were released, but that's just on paper. The on the ground stuff is again always a process. We do not want the powers that have been, the elite establishment, whatever you want to call it, we do not want those people to be in charge of putting the money out, because they have a long history of subverting humanity projects and giving it to military people that all they do is control people, and it never reaches the people that it was supposed to be going to, that they told us that this is a humanitarian project. Yeah, BS. Africa is loaded with humanitarian projects that never reached the people. In fact, the entire third world, that is true. They never reach the people. They reach despots that are hired by the cabal, and the cabal maintains its control and its insanity, and its Agenda 21 projects continue unabated. Well, we don't want that to happen. This is the people's money. These collateral accounts belong to the people of the world. They are for the betterment of humanity. They are for the furthering of our evolution and our spiritual awakening. They are for growth that will allow us, not growth in the sense that the old world order sees, but growth in the sense of spiritual growth, of remembering who we are, of empowering ourselves, of becoming enriched, of becoming knowledgeable, of coming out of the ignorance and the darkness into the light of truth, and becoming aware of the world around us, and most importantly, of who we are in the world. You cannot, pouring money on something doesn't change anything. Nothing at all is changed just by putting money on the situation. That's been the problem. We've thought that we could do it just with money. No, it's a consciousness thing. And it's a process thing. It's something that takes time to develop. It took hundreds and even thousands of years to develop the system that we have come to know as the system that we live in, as the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. It has taken a long time to develop that. It didn't happen overnight, and it was a few people behind the scenes that were doing it, and it's a few people now that are at the nucleus of these changes. But we don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past, and everyone needs to be clear on that. We do not want the corporate structure, as it has been unaccountable, to continue. It's important that it not continue. Now, I mentioned that the media will be covering this event in June. The media did cover the event on March 11th. There were at least, 4 or 5 Indonesian newspapers that were present and covered it. And it was also reported on 2 mainstream Indonesian television stations. So it was covered in the news in Indonesia, but it was not worldwide coverage. I don't think you ever heard it on CNN or Fox News or NBC or ABC or CBS or even Al Jazeera or Russia Today or BBC or any of the major networks around the world. They didn't cover it, as far as I know, and that's supposed to change in the meeting that takes place in June. Now, it was interesting that after I had my call, the day after I talked with some of the people in Indonesia, which was, I don't know, I lose so track of time. A few days ago, I had that call late at night, my time. It was morning their time, and nothing was said about Obama. But the very next day, it was reported that Obama has agreed to come to Indonesia to meet with Mr. Sugih and the SwissIndo delegates that are on the ground there. And I don't know whether that will actually happen or not. We will see. But it's supposed to happen between the 20th and the 22nd, which again, as I said, is at the time of the Spring Equinox. if it happens, then that will be very interesting, because another source has reported that Obama has been briefed by extraterrestrials, and he has been assured of protection if and when he announces NESARA, and he has made an agreement to actually announce NESARA. Now, if you don't know what NESARA is, it's the National Economic Stability and Recovery Act, which has been reported for, God, I've known about it since 2001, I think, and others have known about it even longer than that. It was signed into law supposedly in 2000, before Clinton left office in October of 2000. So that's supposedly when it became law. And it is about debt forgiveness. It is about the redistribution or the distribution of some of the prosperity funds and stuff like that. It's a different thing than SwissIndo, and yet somehow related. And whether that happens or not, I mean, they were supposed to, George Bush was supposed to announce it on September 11th, 2001. Of course, we know what happened on that fateful day, and it didn't get announced. And they moved the gold that was in the basement of the World Trade Center. They moved it out. It was a planned event. It was not an accident. Anybody that still thinks it was an accident and that caught our government leaders by surprise has got their head in the sand or up their butts, because there's no way that our government didn't know that was coming. They were in on the planning. It was an operation being conducted out of the Pentagon by Dick Cheney and his cohort, the Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, who, by the way, is also one of the leaders of Monsanto. And I mean, this cabal is sick. I mean, they are sick, sick people. And it's coming down, but how it's going to come down, I'll believe it when I see it. I know it's happening because I want it to happen, because I believe that that is the fulfillment of the promises of God. But people right now are worried about, how can I get this free energy project off the ground? How can I get this other project that these healing technologies? How can I get that funded so that people can start taking advantage of these things and go off the grid and stop being part of the old matrix and come out of the matrix and be separate from the matrix, so that we can liberate ourselves? Because it is about the liberation of humanity, of just ordinary people like you and like me, and liberation of ethnic groups that are living in countries like the Kurds in Turkey and Iraq primarily. They need their own Kurdistan put back in place, okay? In my opinion, I'm giving you my opinion. And in fact, everything that I'm saying is my opinion. It's my perspective on it. It's not the final word. I don't know a final word. I don't have a final word for you. Those that commented yesterday about the confusion, they says, we're still confused. Of course, because people want answers that they think are solid. Well, there are no solid answers in a process. The process is undergoing, and you have to see how it comes out. That's just the reality of how things work in our world. It is not done. That's not how it works. It is a process. You don't impregnate a woman and have a baby the next day. It takes time. And everything worthwhile is going to take time to develop, time to work out the kinks, and to move with the flow, and to be shown what the next step is, and the next step, and it's step after step, and it's a journey that we're going on toward the creation of this better world that many, many people around the world want. Even some of the elite, deep in their heart and soul, they want that too. They want the world that works for everybody, because don't think that they're not scared. Why do you think they put up all these security measures? Why do you think they have all these bodyguards and everything? Because they don't even trust each other. They don't live in a world that's loving and compassionate and kind. They live in a world that's fear-based, and they spread their fear like a poison throughout the entire world through their media control, their military control, their police forces that are brainwashed individuals. They do the brainwashing to talk about authority. They want to have authority because they want to control. It's the illusion of control. Well, that's not where we're going, folks. We're liberating ourselves from that control authority mechanism. that is false anyway. We're eliminating the debt. We're eliminating the corporate structures that don't allow accountability. That's all being eliminated, but it's going to take some time to get the resources there to actually accomplish the matter. It's not going to happen today. Okay? It's not going to happen on St. Patrick's Day. But it is unfolding. It is happening. People are working on this. And I do believe that extraterrestrials are doing everything they can to assist us in this process, because it's in their best interest too, that humanity gets it, that Gaia, that Earth, becomes a place that's safe for extraterrestrials of goodwill from all over the universe to come and to meet with us and to be part of our journey. I mean, this whole thing that's unfolding is amazing. It's wonderful. It's a spiritual renaissance, if you will. And trust that people are working for good. I know trust is hard. And man, somebody that says trust me, and I'm not saying trust me, I'm saying trust the process, trust the intent of Creator to make creation blossom and make creation function in a way that blesses everyone. Because that's what we want. That's what's been planted in our heart and our soul. Let the flame of freedom burn out all the crap that's in the way, all the dross, and transform the coal into diamonds, and to transform the gold by burning away the dross, so that we become the gold, we become the value, we become the transformation that we are looking for, that we want. It's not about money, folks, but the money is coming as a temporary bridge. Ultimately, we're moving to where there will not be money, because we will recognize that we don't need it. But we're not there yet, folks. We're not there yet. It's going to take a while to process from the old to the new. Allow that process to take place. You're not being very wise if you are just totally impatient and want it now. That's not wisdom, folks. Please hear me on that. And thank you for listening and considering the things that I'm sharing with you. I'm telling you the truth to the best of my ability, as I know it and as I understand it. And I might have some things wrong, but that's not my intent. It's not my intent to deceive or any such thing. It's my intent only to awaken within you the best you that you can be, so that you can become that and live that and know that experientially. Again, I thank you for listening. Have a beautiful St. Patrick's Day. Namaste.